Hello everybody, GCTV back with probably the last YouTube video of the day. We are here to talk about the Logan movie that came out 5 years ago. My first time seeing this. I was really high on it when I first saw the trailers in 2017, but I just never came around to it. I'm obviously a big superhero movie fan. You guys probably haven't picked up on that yet. I don't review a shit ton of them because most of the time I've watched most superhero movies, so I'm not going to revisit them. Only if it was 10 years ago or something like that. But we have Logan here. It's not really it doesn't appear to be a superhero movie, but obviously it is about Wolverine. You can see on the movie flyer. You could see in the trailers. Hugh Jackman was in the movie. You kind of knew that right away. Begin in the plot. In 2029, no mutants have been born in 25 years, and an aging Logan suffers as his healing ability is failing. So we're getting into this is the last of the Wolverine stuff. I think with this movie, it signified that Marvel was done with the Wolverine storyline. I don't know if this was represented in comics. I don't think this is a comic book adaptation. I don't know if they had a Wolverine comic like this. But yeah, he was getting kind of worried because no mutants were being made, and they were just all little kids. And yeah, working as a limousine driver in El Paso, Texas, he and mutant tracker Caliban care for 90-year-old Charles Xavier, founder of the X-Men, in an abandoned smelting plant in northern Mexico. Now, while I was watching this movie, I was failing to kind of understand some of these characters and their purpose, because obviously these characters were from the X-Men, but I didn't realize what their roles were at first because it's been a while. I think I watched a couple X-Men movies, or maybe it was Fantastic Four. I don't really remember, but those movies are kind of bleak. My memory is kind of bleak on them. I don't really know a lot about that universe of Marvel. But yeah, so Charles Xavier is the founder of the X-Men, the old guy. I kind of figured that. I thought he was, I don't know, one of the X-Men possibly, but no, he's the founder. Xavier suffers from dementia that causes him to have destructive telepathic seizures, one of which injured 600 people and killed several X-Men the year prior. So this is taking place after a big catastrophic event, and Wolverine seems to be one of the only X-Men alive. This is not a Ken Carson reference, by the way, guys. X-Men is an actual thing. So, Logan reluctantly agrees to escort Gabriela Lopez, a former nurse for Biotechnology Corporation Alkali Transigen, and a young girl named Laura to Eden, a supposed refuge near the American-Canadian border. So obviously, she was a nurse in the lab where they were making these mutant kids. She was watching over them. Laura is obviously one of the mutant kids. And she has one of the most badass child roles I've ever seen in a movie. I'm just going to say that right now. I really liked what she did in this movie, and her character and her stone cold expressions were just great. Whoever acted her, I don't know who did, but it was great. After finding Gabriella dead, Logan's confronted by her killer, Donald Pierce, who is Transigen Cyborg Chief of Security. So he's creating cyborgs to kind of fight against the X-Men, pretty much. Pierce is looking for Laura, who is stowed away in Logan's limo and has powers similar to this. To his. She is pretty much Wolverine, like She-Hulk, but with Wolverine. She-Wolverine. I don't know what you'd call that. Logan, and Xavier escape Pierce and his Reavers, but Caliban is captured, so there's kind of a trade-off there. Obviously, Caliban is captured by the Reavers, who are pretty much the antagonist group of the movie. Again, not that familiar with the X-Men universe, but I really liked this movie. Maybe I should have went back and watched the X-Men movies. I think I'm going to watch at least one X-Men movie. I think the second one was seen as a really good movie. I'm not sure. Pierce tortures Caliban into tracking Laura so they can follow the group throughout the movie pretty much, and it goes down. I mean, the scenes, the set pieces, everything about this movie is just great. I love it. It's a good movie. It's been a while since I've seen a superhero movie, given that there's not a lot of them that are that new to me, but this one was great. Xavier and Logan watch a video on Gabriella's phone revealing that Transigen created Laura and other children from mutant DNA to become weapons. Now, I'm sure that Wolverine knew this all along. The children proved challenging to control and were to be executed, but Gabriella and other nurses helped some escape, including Laura. And you will see in the end that they have this whole camp with a bunch of them stowed away. So Yeah. Xavier reveals to Logan that Laura was created from Logan's DNA and calls her Logan's daughter. So she is pretty much the biological daughter of Logan, and at this point in the movie, it's kind of crazy to hear that. We thought she was just a mutant based on Wolverine, but it happens that she's pretty much Logan's daughter. In Oklahoma City, Logan discovers that Eden appears in Laura's X-Men comic and tells her it is fictional, it is not real, even though he was literally a part of it. I like this little detail of showing the comic books. I think that was really cool. The Reavers arrive, but Xavier has a seizure which incapacitates everyone except Logan and Laura, who kill the attackers and inject Xavier with his medication. Now, every time he has these seizures, you have to find him and hit him with the medication. You have to give him a shot while he's shaking around. Obviously, that's not an easy thing to do, and he just wreaks havoc. His power is really clutch. As they flee, Dr. Xander Rice, the head of Transigen, arrives to help Pierce. Yeah. Finally gonna get some intel on these mutants for Pierce here. But anyways, Logan, Laura, and Xavier help farmer Will Munson and his family after a traffic accident, accepting an offer at dinner at their home, where Logan drives off enforcers from a corporate farm. So they're pretty much staying there for some hospitality a little bit, trying to escape Pierce and the Reavers. Yeah. Rice unleashes X-24, a clone of Logan in his prime, created his Transigen's ultimate weapon. So pretty much primetime Wolverine, like from the X-Men movies, gets unleashed on the older version of Wolverine. So it's kind of a crazy thing. X-24 murders Will's family and Xavier before capturing Laura, so he just fucking wreaks havoc. He destroys everything. Caliban sets off grenades, killing himself and several Reavers, but only injuring Pierce. So at the end of the day, Pierce is still getting the last laugh out of that situation. So, yeah. Logan is outmatched by X-24, but Will pins X-24 with his truck before dying from his injuries. So X-24 gets killed by Munson. What a fucking hero. Logan and Laura escape from Xavier's body. Yeah. So Will kills him, and then he dies later. It's kind of sad. After burying Xavier, Logan passes out because, they're burying him because he just died, and it's very unfortunate. The founder of the X-Men. This shows that the X-Men series, is kind of coming to the end, and Logan is down bad. He's falling health-wise. Laura takes him to a doctor and persuades him to prove that the site in North Dakota is not Eden. So she still believes in the X-Men. She still has hope. She still thinks it's real, and she wants Logan to kind of prove to her that it's fake. There they find Richter and other Transigen children preparing to cross into Canada, possibly being the next gen of X-Men that might open up for this universe. Laura being the next Wolverine, and the possibilities are endless with all these kids' powers and stuff from the nursing, or not from the nursing, the lab place. Transigen. Laura finds an adamantium bullet that Logan has kept since he escaped from the Weapon X facility, which he once considered using to commit suicide. Seeing that the X-Men are kind of done for, Logan decides not to accompany them, to Laura's dismay. She doesn't like it. She wants him to help her out because she sees hope in this whole thing. When the Reavers ambush the children, Logan takes an overdose of a serum given to him by Richter that temporarily enhances his healing abilities and boosts his strength, pretty much like a Compound V, pretty much from The Boys. With Laura's help, he slaughters most of the Reavers before the serum wears off, and he becomes weaker than ever. He kind of has the hangover from this, and yeah. As Pierce holds Richter to gunpoint, Rice tells Logan, who killed Rice's father years ago at the Weapon X facility, that no new mutants have been born due to genetically engineered crops created by Transigen and distributed through the world's food supply. So obviously Rice and Logan are sworn enemies. Logan, having found a gun, shoots Rice dead and injures Pierce. X-24 fights Logan as the children combine their powers to kill Pierce and the remaining Reavers. So it seems like the heroes are going to win. Richter uses his powers to flip a truck onto X-24, but he frees himself and impales Logan on a large tree branch. That's going to leave a mark, kind of like how X-24 died in the beginning. Kind of some foreshadowing there. Great job there in the story. Laura loads Logan's revolver with the adamantium bullet and shoots X-24 in the head, killing him. Near death, Logan tells Laura not to become the weapon that was made to be, and after she tearfully acknowledges him as her father, Logan dies peacefully in Laura's arms. Really sad ending. Obviously, it's not really that happy of an ending, but it's a storyline that is fulfilled, and I think it's great. Laura, don't be this hero. Don't try to be a hero. I mean, you're gonna get hurt like I have, and my life was not that good of a life, so. She and the children bury Logan, and before they depart, Laura tilts the cross on her grave marker to create an X, honoring him as the last of the X-Men. So she accepts the fact that the X-Men are probably over, and yeah, what a good way to close out a universe. I mean, it's hard to do that. Jesus, okay. Predictions for its opening. What's the critical reception? Here we go. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8 out of 10. Hugh Jackman makes the most of his final outing as Wolverine with a gritty, nuanced performance in a violent but surprisingly thoughtful superhero action film that defies genre conventions. Metacritic gave it a 7.7 out of 10, generally be favorable reviews, A- on Cinema Score, 5 out of 5 on Post Track, which is rare for that website. Logan's one of the greatest superhero films for some people, and to me, I mean, it's up there. I think it was a really good movie. IGN gave it a 9.7 out of 10, an emotional, heavy picture, but it's also an uplifting one that reminds us that it's okay to fight for something more, something better, and perhaps the best X-Men movie yet. Now, X2 was highly critically acclaimed, so I will have to watch that one as well. A- in the AV Club. The film manages to deliver the visceral goods, all the hardcore Wolverine action its fans could desire, while still functioning as a surprisingly thoughtful, even poignant drama. A terrific movie, no comic book qualifier required. B- on Entertainment Weekly. Both the most violent film in the series and the most sentimental one. When it's not showering you with blood, it's trying to make you spill tears. True. Seamlessly melding Marvel mythology with Western mythology, director James Mangold has crafted an affectingly stripped down standalone feature, one that draws its strength from Hugh Jackman's nuanced turn as a reluctant, all but dissipated hero. 4 out of 5 on The Guardian. It is more like a survivalist thriller than a superhero film and signals its wintry quality with the title itself. Wolverine's hitting of his truck during the film was to Basil Fawlty from Fawlty Towers. Kind of a comparison there. 3.5 out of 4 on real reviews. In terms of tone and content, Logan and Deadpool is polar opposite, but both productions refuse to play by traditional superhero movie rules. With his glimpse into what superhero movies can be, James Mangold has given us something sadly lacking in recent genre entries. Hope. 3.5 out of 4 on the New York Post. The film recognizes that superhero movies such as last year's forgettable X-Men Apocalypse, or the year prior, have been meaningless spectacle. You can rank it beside X-Men Days of Future Past among the best X-Men entries. Logan has stakes that feel real and fight cinematography that's fluid and gorgeous instead of just computer-generated effects. Most importantly, Logan has characters with which you identify and about whom you care. It's not just great for a superhero movie, it's a great movie for any genre. Easily the best Wolverine outing, Logan is the Dark Knight of the mutant-filled X franchise, a gripping film that transcends the comic book of genre by saying something important. It's 3.5 out of 4. Yeah, this is a highly acclaimed movie, my god. 3.5 out of 4 on Rolling Stone. A hard-ass, R-rated rager that explodes with action. A phenomenal throat-slashing, gut-stabbing superhero movie. Logan is beautiful, sophisticated, and still a kick-ass superhero film. 4 out of 5 on Crosswalk. The script also has several powerful themes and is truly deft in its handling of them. A game-changing masterpiece. It's not just one of the best superhero movies ever, it's a damn fine cinematic representation of the human condition in all its agonizing forms. It's the best superhero film to come out the comic book world, and we're not forgetting Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. That's what some people are saying. The acting was great. One of the greatest superhero movie performances of all time on The Hollywood Reporter. What? Some people hated on this movie. These quiet images from Shane brand themselves on the mind, and the gunshots come as an overwhelming release, whereas when Logan and Laura unleash their furious sights, nothing feels settled or satisfied. Here's some critics. US Weekly gave it 2.5 out of 4. The film poet loses its way during the 20 minutes too long journey. For all the breathless talk about Logan transcends the superhero genre, there's nothing groundbreaking about a road trip movie in which adults try to elude the bad guys to protect a super special child. 2 out of 4 in Chicago Tribune. Logan is deadly serious, and while its gamer-style killing sprees are meant to be excitingly brutal, some people found them numbing and in the climax borderline offensive. The grim side of human nature is all over James Mangold's movie Logan, but that doesn't necessarily make it a good movie. I liked it. I think this concept is great. I don't think there's no comic book representation of this. This was made from scratch, which is kind of the beauty of the movie. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, is GZTV reviewing your favorite movies. If you have suggestions, give me some. But other than that, I'm just kind of going off of